are on a losing Monday for the Cincinnati Bengals, fresh off their 37-17 defeat yesterday at home at Paycor Stadium against the Philadelphia Eagles, a venue in which they are still completely defeated, have not won a game at home this year in 2024. Who deserves the most blame for yesterday's loss? Sound off for us in the comments section of today's video. Is it Zac Taylor? Is it Duke Tobin? Is it Lou Anarumo? Defensive personnel, Trey Hendrickson, Joe Burrow even. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Sound off for us. Who deserves the most blame for yesterday's loss? All right, so we're going to get into some overreactions here on our edition of Bengals Breakdown. I'm going to go through 5 topics, and I'm going to explain whether or not I believe it's an overreaction or not an overreaction. After another loss, again, winless at home this season, this is an obvious one we have to start with. Fire Zac Taylor. People all over the city are calling for this man's job. And again, my stance has not changed on this. I do believe this is an overreaction. Are there some issues with Zac Taylor? Absolutely. The main concern for me is the slow starts in September, right? That's a good Philadelphia Eagle football team. If you maybe beat the New England Patriots, hold on when you should have beat Kansas City, start out a little stronger, we're not talking about this loss like it's a do-or-die situation. But you play bad in September, that is a reflection on the head coach. There is no doubt about that. The only issue I have with Taylor in this game was his play call there with 30 seconds left in the third quarter. Goes for it deep in his own territory. In the moment, I said, I'd probably punt this away, but your defense wasn't getting any stops. You were down 7. He wanted to be aggressive. Joe Burrow was playing great, so you went out there and went for it, but the kind of bubble to Jamar Chase, throwing it short of the sticks, look, I'm not going to, I hate people that sit there and just criticize the play calling, right? We're not football people, right? We're just fans. But the play calling there did seem to be a bit of an issue, right? Throwing it short of the sticks. You had success over the middle of the field, going towards the boundaries as well. I get you only needed a yard, but throwing it short of the sticks there when kind of coverage that you had there with Cooper DeJean kind of just looming, he's able to make the tackle. But look, I do think this is a complete overreaction. No reason for Cincinnati to go out there and fire Zac Taylor. The offense looked outstanding on that first drive. They were moving the ball great throughout the entirety of the first half. And then really in the second half, it was a limited possession ball game. I thought the Bengals offense was executing at a very high level. Really liked the scheme from Zac Taylor. He put them in great positions. The execution just wasn't there to finish some drives. Obviously, he had the missed field goal as well. But to sit here and blame Zac Taylor, I get he is the head coach, and ultimately that's where the blame typically falls. But to say they need to fire him, I thought Zac Taylor, for the most part, was really good in this game apart from that 4th down decision. Leads us to the pinned comment of today's video. Look, I know all you guys out there want to fire Zac Taylor. I'm not quite there yet. Don't think I will be in the foreseeable future either. But should the Bengals fire Zac Taylor? Sound off for us in the comments. Type Y for yes, N for no if that ad comes here on YouTube. That's totally fine. Take advantage of it. Get down in the comment section and let us know what you think. Next overreaction, Duke Tobin has too many misses. Duke Tobin isn't technically the general manager, but he's essentially the de facto GM. He's making the personnel calls for the most part in the offseason. And look, this is not an overreaction at all. The Bengals have prided themselves in the past about being a really good drafting football team, and they have some misses here. The biggest issue, of course, is at that pass rusher position. They brought in Myles Murphy as a first-round pick a couple of seasons ago. He's finally healthy, and look, guys, he just doesn't look the part. I haven't completely given up on him yet, but that pass rush is Trey Hendrickson or nothing. We'll spend some more time talking about the pass rush as we continue here, but it looks like Myles Murphy is a miss, and you have nobody else that can really go in there and do that job. Joseph Osai really hasn't proven you anything either as a pass rusher. And Myles Murphy, as I mentioned, Myles Murphy probably feels like a bust. Cedric Johnson, he's usually inactive. We've only seen him a couple of times this year. So pass rushing-wise, it feels like a miss. And also in the safety department, bringing in Geno Stone, guys like that, he hasn't really worked out for you this year. Von Bell, he even got pulled for Jordan Battle, and then Jordan Battle gives up the big play. I think a lot of people thought he would come in here and really do a nice job, getting back to a better, higher level of play in the secondary for Cincinnati, and that has not worked out this year. And Duke Tobin deserves a lot of criticism for that. Obviously, Dax Hill was having a great season. He gets hurt, so that's a knock. Unfortunate, right? But for the most part, Duke Tobin's got to be a heck of a lot better because there's some personnel issues with this football team. There's no doubt about that. We'll continue with our overreactions here in a minute, but first, I want to give a shout out to our friends over at Game Time. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Game Time Picks is the easiest way to find and buy tickets to live events. Tickets for next week's game at home against the Las Vegas Raiders are on sale now. Also, a little December game a couple of weeks from now. Next month, I guess I should say, over a month from now. Bengals taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. That should be an electric game. Head on over to Game Time and get the best deals possible. My two favorite features on Game Time, the seat views. Get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy with Game Time. Secondly, the all-in pricing. Toggling this feature up front allows you to see your total up front so you don't get hit with any of those surprise fees at checkout. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. Next overreaction here is the Bengals need to make a trade. Look, this is not an overreaction whatsoever. They need to make a move. I don't believe the season is over, which we'll get to that at the end of our show here today, but you have to do something because the pass rush is not good enough. Look, we all have belief in Trey Hendrickson, but Trey Hendrickson got owned in this game against former Bengal Fred Johnson, of all people. He could not get anything off in this football game, and when he cannot rush the quarterback, you have absolutely no hope. Even when they were bringing blitzes, the few times that Lou Anarumo brought some pressure, they're not able to get home quick enough. And it was just easy completions for the Philadelphia offense. That was the biggest takeaway for me, just how easy things were for Philadelphia. And here's what Trey Hendrickson did. He did really absolutely nothing. Like I said, really did not do a good job in his matchup with his, former Bengal Fred Johnson in that game. It simply was not good enough. And if this team wants to get to where they want to get to, they need to make a change before November 5th and bring in somebody that can help rush the passer. Because Jalen Hurts had all day to throw. Didn't get hit once. He did whatever he wanted to do. And Philadelphia really dictated the physicality in this football game. And I think that's why, Cincinnati went out there and weren't able to be successful in this game. I mean, Hurts was pretty much perfect, and he didn't have to deal with any, muddy pockets, or like I said, he didn't get hit at all. And Sam Hubbard, love the guy. He was making some improvements as the season has gone on, but he's never really, even when he was really good, he was never a guy that could get after the passer like that. He's good in the run game, and he's a versatile player, but he's never been that guy that can go get the quarterback. Nobody. Miles Murphy, you were hoping that he could be that guy. He certainly doesn't appear to be that guy either. So plenty of adjustments need to be made. And if I'm the Bengals, I don't think it's sell mode. I'm not getting rid of T. Higgins for Trey Hendrickson. They need to bring somebody in to help fill that void of rushing the passer for Lou Anarumo's defense, because that's been a real weak point for him for as long as we can remember, really, in 2023, and struggling with it once again here in 2024. So should the Bengals trade for a pass rusher? Type T for trade, P for pass. Another opportunity for you guys to get interactive with our show here. Let us know in the comments of today's video. Next up, time to panic with Evan McPherson. Look, Evan McPherson's one of my favorite players on this football team. I am a big fan of Evan McPherson. I've been trying to tell everybody to slow down, don't panic with Evan McPherson. But look, I think now it's fair to start panicking with Evan McPherson. I get it, 54-yarder. It's a long kick, but these days in the NFL, they're banging that through with ease. And he misfired yet again yesterday, and I really think he is a major factor as to why they lost that football game. Again, it was a limited possession game. You needed to go capitalize, score points on that drive. Instead, you give Philadelphia great field position with 5 minutes to go in the half, and they chew the entirety of that clock. You don't really have an opportunity. You run, 2 plays when you get the ball back at the end of the half. Philadelphia chews out all the clock and is able to score, and you look up, and next thing you know, it's a tie game at half, and you're not getting the ball to start the second half. And that's, an issue with Evan McPherson. Again, I'm not a kicking guru, but to me, looked like a fine snap, looked like a fine hold, and the ball did not come off his foot well at all. Fluttered up there in the sky and obviously hooked to the left. Had the missed kick against Cleveland, which luckily didn't end up costing Cincinnati. But this is a problem with Evan McPherson. It is not good. And as I mentioned during our instant reaction video yesterday, when the Bengals were playing really good football, he was a weapon. He was one of their best players that really allowed them to close games out. And they don't have that right now in Evan McPherson. I remain confident that he can get back to his old form, but it's absolutely time to panic about Evan McPherson in the kicking game. Last up here, the season is over. I know some people out there are probably thinking that at this point in time. I do believe that is an overreaction. I'm not quite giving up yet. Again, the slow start is making this look a lot worse than I think it really is in terms of your record, right? Because if you beat New England, you finish one of the games, either Baltimore or Kansas City, you're in a fine spot right now, even after this loss. But given the slow start, you're in a really tough spot. But the main reason I don't think it's over, because you got that guy right there. Pointing the wrong way. There we go. That guy right there, number 9, Joe Burrow. He is playing at such an elite level. The interception he threw yesterday, it is a pick. Ultimately, I guess that falls on the quarterback, but that was I'm just going to say, that was a lucky play by Philadelphia. But, that's what goes into winning games in the NFL. You have to get a little lucky. The guy was in the right place at the right time. Burrow did say he underthrew him a little bit, and ultimately that resulted in an interception. That's what kind of didn't end the game right there, but you were like, oh, now the Bengals are in serious trouble. But as long as they got that guy, I have some confidence, unless they are mathematically eliminated. And when you take a look at what's on the horizon here, I'm going to say it right here on Monday. I think Week 9 against the Raiders is a must-win game. Look, the Raiders kind of gave Kansas City fits over the weekend, but the Raiders are a bad football team. You got them at home. Got to pick up your first home win on Sunday. No doubt about that. I'm going to say that is a must-win game for Cincinnati. And then after that, you got a rematch with Baltimore. I think if you're Cincinnati, you got to be chomping at the bit to get back at those guys after squandering that performance a couple of weeks ago. Chargers certainly going to be a problem for you as well. They're a really tough physical football team, and the Bengals haven't really been that so far this year. So if you can win 2 out of those 3 minimum going into the bye in Week 12, I think you very much are alive in this race, but got to get 2 of those in some capacity. Here's what we're looking at here in the AFC North right now. Bengals caught a break yesterday. Cleveland pulled through, was able to beat Baltimore, which was crazy because I've never really found myself rooting for the Browns, and that's what I was doing yesterday. We'll see what Pittsburgh does tonight. They, are obviously favored in that game against the Giants, so we'll see what happens, but maybe the Bengals can catch another break, and maybe Pittsburgh will slip up a little bit. But that loss from Baltimore really is big, and that was kind of nice to get that right after the Bengals lost to the Eagles, kind of give you a little optimism about the outlook of the AFC North. So still very much in it, but definitely the sense of urgency is high, as it has been all year after that slow start. Reminder to hit that sub button if you haven't done so already. YouTube.com/BengalsTV. We'll have videos for you guys all week long, and another watch party coming your way on Sunday when the Bengals take on the Raiders. So help us out, help yourself out. Hit that sub button, YouTube.com/BengalsTV.